Got another minute.
I'm gonna shut my phone off.
Hey, Patty.
Lordy, 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 Jim. Shutting it off. What have we got here? I need to talk to you about this meeting.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Morgan County Board of Commissioners meeting for this May 15th, 2023.
Oh, you're hearing me beat on the thing? Okay, sorry about that.
Well, they couldn't hear me welcome to the meeting because you were beating on your microphone. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Morgan County Board of Commissioners meeting for May 15th, 2023. If you all stand, Mr. Adams will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Lydia Glaze from FEMA will have a prayer. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, we thank you so much that you could be with us tonight. Thank you for the men and the women, Lord, of this county do the work of your business. Thank you, Lord, that you are with them, that you are for them. Thank you for the Hoosier miracles, that we had such a vast and horrible devastation on March 31st, and yet you spared many lives. And to that we say thank you. Tonight be with us as the business of this county is done. Bless Morgan County beyond what we know today, and may it continue to prosper. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Ms. Glaze, sometimes I get sidetracked. I want to thank you for that and then remind you that our next meeting is June 5th if you'd like to come back. First on the new business is minutes from, it's not from the May 15th.
May
Yes,
1st.
May 1st,
Well, yeah, May 1st. This is May 15th.
correct.
I move to approve. I read them. They were very fine. Thank you.
We have a motion to approve minutes from the May, I believe it was 1st meeting.
It was.
Yes.
Do I have a second? Any corrections, comments? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. First up, insurance renewal. Mr. Messmer.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. So we have some good news this year. As you guys know, with the cost of inflation, lots of things went up, including replacement costs on insurance. And so we expected a higher renewal than we received. And working with Mr. McConnell, he was communicating with Travelers. We switched, just to jog your guys' memory, we switched back to Travelers from who we had been using previously because we were not satisfied with the service. And they worked with us. They got the quote down. We made the switch back. It's been great. And so we expected high. They came back in with a 6% renewal. Steve said he was thrilled with that and highly recommended that we move forward with accepting the renewal. That's for $1,016,057. That includes the workers' comp in that number, which we pay in two separate line items. And so if you guys are favorable to this recommendation, then we will get the paperwork started, and I would just ask that your motion would either make one of you or myself the ability to sign, because Steve will bring stuff in as he gets it from the insurance companies.
Any questions?
No, I'm so glad to hear that number. It's frightening to know all the inflation and see that was the number that we got. I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve that working relationship that we've got right now with Travelers. Would it be appropriate, do they have to have a commissioner's signature, or can we authorize you?
As long as you guys make it in the minutes that you've given me the authority to sign on your behalf, we have to have insurance, we do it regularly, it shouldn't be a problem, but I would want you to make it clear in the minutes that you've delegated that
Since there's a
authority.
lot to coming in and going out, and I will include that in my motion, that we authorize you to go ahead and be the signator for that.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to renew our contract for liability insurance and workman's compensation and property coverage, equipment coverage, liability coverage, cyber liability with Travelers, and to have Josh have signature authority. First and a second, any questions, any input from the public? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye?
Same sign. Congratulations, Josh. Now you get a sign. In the interest of Josh being a dad and getting to his kid's soccer game and already being up here, you want to cover the BOT?
Yes. So we signed an agreement about a year, maybe a year and a half ago at this point. It was our last BOT agreement. So, just the different steps along the way. And we went through a financing process, but we actually signed an agreement with the developer, Greg Martz, through Bot One, which included the price of doing the parking lots and some of the other things. Now we have the bot agreement for this newest phase, which we just did our groundbreaking for. So we've already approved all the financing. We've gone through all those steps. Legal department had us wait to sign this agreement just to make sure there was no last minute changes. But the price reflects the bond proceed totals. I mean, we can't have authority to spend more than we've been given from the council. So this is in substantially the same form that you guys already saw, but it's for this newest phase. And it's really just the mechanics of the bot agreement, when we pay, how we pay, when we get title transferred back to us as part of the transfer of the build operate transfer. Taft Law has gone through this, but they're good with it and they've recommended it for approval.
Any questions?
None.
Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve the build, operate, transfer agreement, Morgan County Government Center, Phase 2.
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any input from the audience or questions? $45 million, any questions? Whoever. Call for a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Enjoy the soccer game,
Thanks,
Dad.
see y'all.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Next up, we have SBA Disaster Assistance and FEMA update.
Good evening, Commissioners Hill, Adams, and Collier. My name is Davani Burgess, and I am the Public Affairs Specialist for the Small Business Administration. And I'm here to provide you a disaster assistance update. Now, as of for this particular county, Morgan County, we have received 16 applications. And with those 16 applications, we have approved $384,000 of loans. Now, statewide, there was a referral of over 1,800 applications referred to the Small Business Administration. And out of the 1,800 referrals, 160 applications that we have received. And it's broken down as homes. Homes are the highest applications that has been coming in. And here, statewide, it's over 1,500 home applications. As far as businesses, we have over 200 applications that have came in statewide. And with that said, regarding statewide, far as dollars is concerned, we have approved over $4 million. That's statewide. And we are here to assist every applicant, every survivor here in the state. I'm speaking to Morgan County. We're here to assist Morgan County residents, those survivors that may have been affected, especially renters, homeowners, businesses, and nonprofits. So I would like to encourage the commissioners and staff here in Morgan County to let your constituents know that we are here. We're at the fairgrounds. Come down and get the assistance that they need. The deadline is June the 14th, 2023. So I would love to see everyone coming before the deadline. With that said, I'm going to yield most of my time to my federal family, which is FEMA. So I would like for my family FEMA to come up and give their presentation. But before they come up, any questions for me?
Oh, just appreciation.
Do you know what interest rate these loans are being granted at?
Businesses' interest rate is at 4%.
4?
Yes. Homeowners, renters, and nonprofits is 2.365%. That's absolutely low.
That's an excellent rate in today's market.
Yes. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
having us, and we are glad to serve you.
Again, we just greet you, our commissioners, Commissioner Hale, Commissioner Adams, and Commissioner Collier. Thank you, Deb, for helping to make sure that we could be here today. It's an honor to stand with our cousin, family cousin, and that is SBA. I am new to the state. I got here about 2 weeks ago. I'm the intergovernmental specialist, and so I get to work with you guys, the elected, to make sure that when you guys get questions, that you can come directly to me and I help you get quick answers.
Ms. Glaze, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want you to know in advance that some of us are easier to work with than others.
Well, I won't tell you what Commissioner and Adams and I talked about before the meeting started. Maybe I'll tell you after the meeting. So he's getting to be really a good friend already. But also, I did talk to your daughter about coming on to FEMA.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
That'd
go.
be excellent. She'd
Yeah,
be good at that.
She'd be good as a.
If she had a good coach.
There
you
he
go.
is. I'm getting ready to introduce him. He's our works out of headquarters. Roberto is our public affairs officer, and he's also our media specialist. And so I'm just here to work directly with you guys, and then he's really gives you all the numbers and what we've done, and I just help move things through as quick as possible when we run into concerns or challenges to make sure that we serve Morgan County at the rate and at the level that you serve them every day as you do the business of Morgan County. So I'm going to stand out of the way, and I'm going to let him give you the update with the numbers. Roberto, if you'll come right on up and do that. And again, thank you for allowing us to
Thank
be
you.
here. SBA, thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Good evening, everybody. My name is Roberto Altodano, Robert Altodano. I'm an External Affairs Officer with FEMA. I can see Lydia is in her world whenever she approaches elected officials. And so I love it how she manages those relationships. And so thank you for being such a good ambassador for us. And so our SBA colleague basically explained to you how the SBA has provided that level of sourcing at incredible rates, as you said. Let me talk to you a little bit about how the federal disaster assistance works, because these are questions that may come your way from your constituents. So FEMA, as you know, it's there to provide them grants. What FEMA provides the people are money for them to do minor repairs, to make sure that they repair or replace personal property that was lost, clothing, food, those elements in the house that may have been destroyed or lost completely as a result of the disaster. For them to be able to get back on their feet, back to work, back to school, being functional again so that the local economy doesn't start to crumble. That is our mission. So collectively, to date, as of the end of yesterday, we have approved over $5.5 million. The bulk of it is SBA with $4 million. That tells you, and this is the message that we send the public, when you register with FEMA, apply with SBA. And our biggest challenge is when we mention about the SBA being a loan. It's not a conventional loan. It is a federal disaster loan, very low interest, long term. But I want to make sure you understand what I refer to as that 1-2 punch. Register with FEMA for that grant, anywhere between $0 to $42,000, depending on your needs. But the bulk of the dollar that is going to pay for that recovery will come from your insurance or savings or the SBA. And so they need to make sure that that application to the SBA is in order for the process to work. When an applicant comes to us and they're registered with FEMA, the very next step is going to be a phone call from an inspector. An inspector is going to call to set up an appointment for them to come in and verify that the address is correct, that the losses that are being reported are there. And our biggest challenge is people do not answer their phone after that because it comes from an unknown number. So yet another challenge that we need the locals to make sure that they understand. A call will come in from an unknown number. It is a FEMA inspector. Please answer it, because without that phone call, there is no inspection. With no inspection, there's nothing. And once that inspection takes place, within 7 to 10 days, they're going to get a determination letter. Yet another point in time where they may come to you. If that letter comes back and says that you've been declined, and unfortunately that's going to say it in big bold letters at the top, if they continue to read down the paragraph, they will see that there's an ask. Typically because we're missing information or because information is incomplete. It could be that we don't have an insurance claim number, or that we have an incomplete or missing phone number, for instance. Something else is required on our end in order for us to continue the process, processing that application. And so again, yet another point in the process where constituents basically either give up or they come back to you and says, well, FEMA didn't approve. We want to make sure that they understand that they have the right to come back to us. And even if at the end of the road they are declined, they can appeal up to 3 times throughout the process on either one of the 2 agencies. So as you can see, the federal assistance is not only flexible and accessible, but very just in how we see things. If we missed a point, if the inspector didn't see a level of destruction that only the owner of the home or the renter of the home or the business is able to communicate, we give them every opportunity for them to come forward and basically explain things to us so that we can then make those assessments. And that, in essence, is how federal assistance works, and in a nutshell, how some of the challenges that we're facing as we go forward in this disaster response. Last but not least, through your communications department, if there's a PIO in the county, we'd love to make sure that we connect with them so that we can speak to your local media outlets, newspaper, radio stations, et cetera, or even faith-based organizations, because that grassroots approach is how we get information out at this stage. 30 days is what we have left, June the 14th to apply. And so please, let's make sure that everybody does apply, particularly those most underserved communities. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Robert.
If I could just finish up a summary on Morgan County for this event. It has been wonderful working with FEMA and with SBA. I couldn't ask for any better partners. We're on the 31st that night, had to cut our way in to the EOC because all the trees down. I came in, Steve came in. I'd like to give a few thank yous because I think kudos aren't given enough, especially in this career field. Kathy Halterman did an excellent job. They were thoroughly impressed with the way she had done her forms to go to FEMA. We got a comment from the state that we had one of the best packages that went in, and that was a group effort. Deb, anything we needed, she was on it with us. Josh, I don't know what we'd do without him. That guy is very, very intelligent and helped immensely to get it together. Of course, Davey and Abby were right in there, and then Steve Lyday helped out a great deal when the EOC was open. So we, all the information's been submitted for the public assistance. We did that last week. They said it takes about 3 weeks for that to get finalized and get a word back to us. I talked with the director of Davies County this morning, and they didn't get it, but he had wanted to talk to me about how we did our paperwork, and they had a lot less damage than we did. The damage assessment team from FEMA has been moved to a limited presence. All the known locations, they had like 2,900 contacts in the county. And if we need them, all it takes is a phone call for them to return. So our big lesson out of this was we've got a comprehensive emergency plan which shows everything at 30,000 feet on what we do during a disaster or emergency. And we're nailing down the specifics. We picked up an intern today, another one from Vincennes University. We've been very lucky with those interns. He starts tomorrow, and I'm going to have him on that project with Abby. And we're working with Johnson County, Owen County, and a couple other counties to get this paperwork approved by the state where it goes out to all the counties because we just weren't ready with the proper paperwork that was pushed down. So we're working on it, and as we get things done, I'll let Josh know and he can inform commissioners. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Toomey?
No, but good.
To get him to work faster.
I appreciate all your support.
We thank
Mr.
you.
Toomey, you know you're my friend, so I thank you for all that you do, and I know your organization and your dedication keeps us out of trouble with higher levels.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Abby, both, they're just wonderful.
Mr. Lyday?
Good evening, Commissioners. You should have received a copy of my emergency operation plan, my novel for
Should
this
have sent me a
year.
ream of paper to go along with it, too.
I know it. This is an emergency response plan on how the health department respond to various emergencies throughout the county in various circumstances. Prior to coming to you this evening, I got the sheriff's approval, the coroner's approval, the Board of Health approval. Now I seek your approval to make it official for me and for the state of Indiana. Any questions? I will give you an autographed copy if you
There you go. As I read through this, this is like a living document, so
Yes.
as time progresses, if we need to, I mean, if we see something there, do we just contact you and then you start the process of analyzing that issue to?
Sure.
To change the document?
And if I'm not here, whoever replaces me.
Okay. That was my only question because, you know, how often do we update it or change and?
It's reviewed every year.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Lyday? Without that, he's seeking the approval of this board for the Morgan County Public Health Emergency Operation Plan.
Kenny Hill makes a motion that we approve Morgan County Health Department Emergency Operation Plan.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments, concerns from the audience? There being none, I call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Thank you.
Thank you. Debbie
Steve.
should have the sheet that needs to be signed.
Do you need me to go out there for the SRI agreement?
No, I don't. I mean, she's on Talk to Us. I'm not on Make Her Go Up. Just talking to the mic so people, I'm not that mean.
Well, SRI is the company that handles the tax sale for us every year, and they are increasing their fee to $125. County fee is still $25. So any properties that are eligible on July 1st, this $150 fee will be added to.
Starting July 1st,
Yes, when we certify the list.
will be a new cost from SRI.
Yes, the fees, the total tax sale fee would be $150,
What is it currently?
$125 total last year.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Any questions? Public
done.
comments, concerns?
They've done a great job over the year, I know that.
Yeah.
They do, they keep us out of
Yep.
trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Surprised it's, I won't make that comment. I was gonna say, I'm surprised it's not more in today's economic environment. Hearing no questions, I call for a vote.
Oh, we haven't made
I'll
a
make a
motion.
motion.
Sorry,
Make
I'm
a
sorry.
motion for approving the tax service from SRI.
We have a motion to approve the tax service support addendum from SRI Service Master Agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes, thank you. Annual highway report.
Thank you for your time this evening and the dedication you guys give to the county. I've put together the annual report for the local roads and streets and bridges within the highway department. This is more or less a summary of the 2022 season. You guys will see this again in our budget request for the 2024 season with some highlighted items and things of that nature. This is a report that's given yearly, and I believe, Linda, does this not go to the State Board of Accounts?
I do believe it does.
Yes, so
At this
is
time,
a-
I'd like for the two commissioners to make a motion to, since the third commissioner left, that his roads don't get done. We'll split his money.
Sure, bud.
Well, you think I'm joking? I think it'd be hilarious. What do you need from us, Grant?
I think I just need you guys to recognize this, and without our fearless leader Josh here, I'm not sure what else there is to say or do with it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you have to sign it.
Right.
Yeah, just, I don't think there has to be a formal acceptance of it or anything like that. I think it's more or less just a signature request and push it down the line.
I'll move, we go ahead and approve this to move it down the line.
Yeah.
How's that?
I'll second that. And if there is any questions on the formality of the procedure needed, Don, I can say yay for a vote, and
Right.
we are covered.
Yeah.
So
I was real impressed
Mr.
with it,
Wisco can't
actually.
charge us extra on not being formal.
Yeah.
Right.
I will take this time just to not more or less present this to you, but also to just kind of make it noted to the general public that there wasn't a lot of cost management in prior administrations. We couldn't tell you where the stone was going or what was being spent on what or how it was being spent. They were more or less just working within the money that they had requested. So if you will, look at the back page when you get time. It's just a summary, more or less, of what we're trying to improve so that we can eventually, over the next few years, put together an accurate budget instead of more or less throwing a dart at the wall saying, we think we're going to use this amount of material this year. And hopefully that will reduce on all additionals or lateral transfers.
Well,
So it's
will
going
comment,
to be a
Grant,
long process. I mean,
I was real impressed with what I saw, and I don't recall seeing it before, but of course, sometimes my recall's a little slow. But this was impressive, of what's been done. Who's doing all the work out there for this?
it's a group effort. I mean, really, guys, we've surpassed the low, and I would like to think that we are kind of at that crest to where we have a good team in place out there. We really do.
It's
I mean,
becoming obvious.
everywhere from, Lisa to Zach with the account, Al, and Joe being in the shop, and Charlie kind of overseeing the field aspiration. It lets me concentrate on the year ahead instead of trying to deal with the moment. And
It shows
these are the things that are coming
good
from it.
leadership. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm just going to stand here till the next one.
Studies, Centennial Road, New Harmony Road, Gotsey Road, Hadley Road.
Okay, I'm going to kind of get out of order here a little bit, but if you guys will stick with me, because the main one of topic or conversation here that we really kind of need to talk on is the Hadley Road. We had gotten a few calls in regards to the speed limit. There's some new development going on out there. So we incorporated this study along with the ones we had for Gotsey, Centennial, and New Harmony Cragen. Their recommendations are, pretty clear cut, but again, it really does just boil down to what the commissioners want to do for their district to better improve safety and things of that nature. For the Hadley Road, we feel like freshening up the striping, putting a solar digital speed sign up, which would be on the westbound east of Landersdale, would drastically improve that, and that is part of their recommendation in their study. So we're waiting on pricing to come back for striping. I'm apologize, everybody's delayed in getting bids back, but the solar-powered signs are about $3,800, and that's just them giving it to us and us going out and installing it. This isn't the buggy type that the sheriff's department uses. This is a fixed, you bolt it onto the post. But the good news is if we feel like.
Similar to the one coming off exit 37, I-69.
Correct, yes. The good news is if we feel like, that digital signs did its job, we can take that off the post and move it to the next job, because they are expensive. But I feel like it's something that our sign department really needs to start putting into their inventory and getting, road studies like this addressed. So it's $3,800. I mean, it's within this year's budget. We might have to do a couple laterals to get it done, but next year you will see that as part of the budget.
I've seen a few studies, probably at road school or someplace, where people, you can do all kinds of stuff, but if you have it where they were doing, it's a lot more effective.
No, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, you can't leave it there forever, but what I also, and I don't know how, of course, I don't even know if we've looked for an intern for the summer, but there's some opportunities for find out how fast they are going, maybe before and after, and then see, you say, well, they're slowing. We don't know. We've got to get some facts.
Yeah, and it's good that you brought that up, and that is a goal of ours, is to try and get an internship, just like Mr. Toomey's got going on. We're not quite there yet. We're just not set up facility-wise, computer-wise, technology and space. I mean, we're limited. I mean, we need a new facility. I mean, but we are trying to make room for that and get it, in the budget and things of that nature. Now, if that happens in 2024, I'd be tickled, but it's probably more of a 2025 realistic. But it's been talked about, we've already done a little bit of research into how to try and get that process going, to get outreach and things of that nature, to let people know that, hey, we are looking, just like we've did for the summer help. We started reaching out to the local schools, letting them know, look for part-time mowing help, things of that nature. So that is in the works. Moving on from Hadley, unless you guys got any more questions about the cost or the efficiency of the digital sign and things, that's what we're going to do, is probably do some fresh stripes and put the solar-powered digital sign up. Moving on to Gotsey, pretty cut and dry, 40 mile an hour along Turkey Track, south of Gotsey. I mean, the sign's part of the budget. It's not going to cost much, and that's the recommendation. And as you'll see, is we are following the recommendation from their studies. Centennial, Morgantown, there will be no changes there. And then the New Harmony Cragen, we are going to turn that into a 4-way stop if you guys approve that.
Is that the recommendation?
That's your why, yes. Well, that is my recommendation on their recommendation. They wanted to do the land, they wanted to take that house out of that triangle and, cut the yard short and do things of that nature.
I thought the realignment was going to take care of part of the problem. Where you could, instead of looking back where you can't see.
Without doing land acquisition, things of that nature. But the study does not really warrant that at this time, because there hasn't been that many crashes there, and there hasn't been any, obsessive, speeding tickets in that area. So this is us kind of just trying to look to the future, say, hey, we see the need, this is a dangerous intersection, and as we grow, there's bound to be more accidents here. So
Well, if you put a 4-way stop there, and I'm not opposed to it, but I would like to.
Where's the 4 ways?
I'd say it'd be a
It's all
three-way
three.
stop.
They're all three on every.
Well,
Three-way
3-way, but
stop.
we're talking about putting the sign back there at the Cragen intersection at the New Harmony on the other side too. So I guess there would be 4 on the dead end side, not just at the Y. So there actually is 4 stop signs for the whole
So
deal.
you'd make the dead end from New Harmony to Cragen, the straight shot on the south side of the home.
There's an
items.
area.
Yeah, I'm familiar with but you'd make that.
If you're coming from the dead end to the New Harmony, you need to stop there as well.
Correct.
Because that traffic doesn't stop. That's the one. And then the other 3 signs are at the Y intersection, the specific one we're talking about. But on the other end, where the alley road on the backside, south side of that triangular house, that needs addressed as well. So,
I still think we need to be nice to our state legislative bodies and get a standard right-of-way and permission to, I get phone calls all the time on cutting down people's bushes and trees that we legally cannot touch because of the obstruction of view, and I can't do anything. But at least, I know I got several calls on this New Harmony, several on Gotsey. We get Centennial paved, and they'll be happy. So
You're gonna
thank you for
take-
addressing them.
You're gonna take the yield signs on New Harmony and on the short one to the east and turn them into stop signs, and then you're putting a stop sign on the dead end of Cragen.
correct. It
I'm
would
fine
be
with
my
that.
recommendation to you from the study. Again, it's up to you guys where you want to put them, how you want to put them.
I'm fine
But
with that. It'll slow
For
it
us to
down.
get, to the point of land acquisitions and things of that nature with
Not
the
even in our budget.
non-accidents that have
They carved
happened
that-
there.
The council carved that out of our budget, so.
I mean, it's just not, it doesn't make sense at this point. But again, if there is an accident in the northbound of I-69 that shuts that road down to a fatality, this is where they're going. They're gonna go right up there through Perry to hit Old Waverly Park to get back on. That's the detour route. That is it. So to not have these signs at that three-way intersection, we're just asking for it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm good myself with the 4 signs, but it's your district.
I'm clear.
I'm-
And
I
it
welcome
proves to the constituents that are so upset about that intersection that we had it professionally viewed, and these are the recommendations of engineers,
And
not political influences.
on the sign itself, how much expense do you get in when you put a solar-powered flashing light?
I honestly don't have those prices on top of my head. I mean, I wouldn't think the flashing light on top of the Stein is a huge cost. If I had to guess, maybe 80 to 120, somewhere in there. That's just me
Have Steve
stabbing,
Lyday just
you
sit
know.
on top of it with the
But,
flashlight.
yeah.
Well, if that would be possible, I think that would be helpful. There's a couple places I've seen, or something around
Yeah.
it that attracts the sign, especially since it's going to be something that's not there.
Yeah. And, throughout, hats off to Bill. I mean, he's doing a great job. He's really getting the whole sign shop, to a professional
He's
state.
getting it
along
whipped into shape.
Along with inventory. I mean, we're
Awesome.
going through and inventorying every single yield and stop and street sign and everything, trying to get it into a GIS so that we know where it's at and things of that nature. He's taken on the reflectiveness. I mean, he
tough.
hasn't touched, there's not one thing he hasn't touched, but it all comes at a cost. And again, with this year's budget cycle, we just can't do it all. We can't.
On a side note, once you get a good inventory and you get a pattern going, I'd be real interested to know how many signs we replace that go missing.
Oh, yeah.
I have fought 2
Yeah.
garage fires as of late, only to find
Yeah.
multiple
No.
road signs,
Oh,
warning
yeah.
signs, stop signs
Yeah.
within the premise. I'm
Yeah.
sure they didn't get dropped off.
No. So again, sometimes you gotta crack an egg to make an omelet, I guess is a better like word, but we are getting it there. And these studies do help us, but kind of going back to what Don talked about and Brian brought up just a little bit ago, these professional services that we are hiring for these studies, they do make the difference. They are by professional engineers. And the more and more I'm in communication and learning this position myself, I've also learned now that LTAP offers this service free of charge, but they only have so many counters and things of that nature to where it could be, if you need a study done within 3 months, they might not be able to get to you for 6. But we are gonna start utilizing them to reduce and take on some of these speed studies.
Do we have a motion to accept the proposed acceptance of the studies on Centennial Road, New Harmony Road, Gotsey Road, and Hadley Road, or you can name them one at a time or all together.
Do them all together, but on the New Harmony and Cragen, we've gone a little bit beyond that, correct? I mean, you're taking their recommendation, but you're putting a little more to it.
Yeah, yes,
And I
yes.
think
A-
that,
and
I think we
those
need
are
to
just,
recognize that we've
you know.
used a study, we've improved what we think would be even more. But
Definitely.
we're not confined by this study, we're
No.
given suggestions, but we
Yeah.
think that this would
Again,
even be
it's completely up
improvement
to
on
you
that.
guys.
I don't have
These
any problem
studies
with-
are what I
I
put
think
in
that
front
needs
of
to be
you
in the
to help
motion.
make the decision.
We're not just approving that one, we're actually making an addendum to it, which I think is fine.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve New Harmony Road, Cragen Road, recommendations from USI, as well as Gutsy Road, Turkey Track Road, recommendations from USI, Hadley Road, Johnson Road to Landersdale, as recommended by USI, and also Centennial Road and Centennial Road and Old Morgantown Road is recommended by USI. New Harmony and Cragen Road and the Stub Cragen Road and the shortcut off of New Harmony to Cragen Road, going with the recommendation of USI as well as the highway, additional 2 stop signs for a total of 4-way stops.
Thank you.
A motion on the floor, do I have a second? I do. Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
Fran. Appreciate it.
Clinical agreement, EMS.
Oh, that was in my packet, but I don't see it in the take home.
Patron.
Got it.
Good evening. I submitted a packet from Columbus Regional Hospital Training Institute for us to have our employees who are students of theirs do their EMT advanced clinicals with us. It's just our employees, it's not any extra students from that class. And we have 2 people in it right now.
This is what we did last year, too.
I know we have multiple contracts with other clinical places, but I believe this
It'll
is
be
our
the
only one
first
for
one with,
Columbus.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have Ivy Tech.
We've had IV Tech. I
Yeah.
know.
So that's fine. I just was making sure we'd been with this before.
Yeah, we don't have one with Columbus. This would be the first
I don't
one.
remember the one from Columbus, but that's just memory. Well, I move we go, it benefits us, benefits
It
them.
does. Yes.
So move we go and approve the agreement between, with Columbia Regional Hospital Training Institute for our EMS, with our EMS.
Have a motion on the floor to accept the agreement as presented in front of us between Morgan County and the Columbus Regional Hospital Training Institute.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need to select an appointment to the Finance Committee. Be a commissioner.
Kenny Hill makes the motion since Mr. Collier has so much time between the commissioner's part-time gig and H&R Block and Fire Department. I'd nominate Mr. Collier.
I'll second the nomination.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for that vote of confidence. Any questions? Calling for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Aye. Motion passes 2 to 1. For those that don't normally come to our meetings, I often say, we do serious work of the taxpayers, but it doesn't mean we can't have fun doing it. Scanning services proposal.
Oh, boy.
Oh, look,
I like
my
props.
speech teacher said always have a visual prop too. gentle or it'll cost us more.
What year is that?
This one is 1867.
Wow.
August of 1867 is when this.
Is that from the Red Sea?
The-
It has a number 9 marked on it. I don't know where the other 8 books before this one are.
It got burnt in a fire, I would guess, because we had a fire in the courthouse.
There's several books downstairs in our storage that look like that
That bad,
one.
yeah.
It looks like that's been through the fire.
The proposal to scan those and some HR records is 8,000. Well, also council records. There are council books like, down there like that. $8,653.38.
Can't believe they could do it that reasonable, really.
She's,
What are we looking at?
I think 35-ish. We have others that are newer, in better shape, but it would also, those are 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It would
I think we need to move in this direction as technology takes over. It eliminates storage, it eliminates what we can scan and remove in that
It would
aspect.
also make them searchable, so we can go in
Correct.
and search for a name or some words.
Auditor's
That-
online portal.
That's the other
we have.
portion of it. It can be added to the auditor's portal. There's a setup fee. I think she said it was a $500 setup fee. Seemed like there was another $500 for training. And then I think it's $100 or $125 a month to support it. But that would also include HR records.
I am happy with what they've done for us so far. They just haven't been as quick about it as they.
I believe it is our responsibility to do this. In my research for today's groundbreaking ceremony, I was presented with some information, and I'll read to you from this article. On the 31st of March, 1876, the records of the county and the offices of the clerk and auditor were largely consumed by fire, supposed to have been done by some rascally official to conceal the evidence of his crimes. Unbelievable, but yeah, I never knew that in the 25, 26 years that I've been involved in politics as an elected official. I kind of shook my head and went, wow. So when you can back it up through electronic means, it's accessible to everyone, I'm all for it. Transparency. Because, you never know when you might come across a rascally.
Bless you, Jim. I don't have enough.
Vote on it. And this is for $8,653.38.
Plus or minus.
Yeah.
Well, when do we pay it? Before or after to get it done?
They send us an invoice as they get a batch of our books done.
So they do it as they go. That's workable. I just didn't want to pay them before they delivered. I figured that would be the way it would go, but I just been cautious.
We usually get an invoice about the week before they say they're bringing the books back. So.
Yeah.
There's also an option for us to have our own portal,
Move we go and proceed.
We have a motion on the floor to accept the proposal from Scanning Services, for scanning services. Do I have a second?
Second.
Public comments. Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any old business to come before the commissioners?
Yes, the ordinance, we did not include the second reading be waived on it for the park fees, and I would make a motion that we go ahead and approve amendment, chapter 38.48 of the Morgan County Code of Ordinance concerning fees for Morgan County parks, and this would be the second reading.
Second.
Motion and a second to accept the ordinance as this is the second reading. Who caught that? Deb? Good catch. Listening to
Good
the
catch.
minutes. Good catch. Any questions? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Any other old business to come before the commissioners? We have a request. Courthouse Square.
Kenny Helm makes a motion, we approve the go ahead, I am so sorry, Debbie, I didn't see you, forgive me, I was gonna approve it for you.
It was on a roll, Julie. Don't blow it now. You almost, just hide behind the podium.
Okay. My name is Julie Keister. For those of you who don't know me, hello, commissioners. Thank you for your time and your service you do for the county. My request is that we be able to use the inside of the courthouse square on Saturday, June 24th at 8 a.m. for about an hour. I'm the 5K race director for Rally in the Valley. It's for benefit Stability First. The city has really cut back on the 5Ks they allow. They've put a new process in place. We've already gotten city approval to leave from the fairgrounds, go down Washington Street, and go back Columbus and back to the fairgrounds. They've approved, closing the appropriate streets. I have my volunteers to be at each section because they have a lot of new roles. So all that's approved, our certificate of insurance. But we'd like to use the inside of the courthouse square and to really, for interest for the walkers, runners, be something different for them, nice to look at all four sides. And I need that amount of space to finish 5K exactly.
Yep.
That's my
So,
request.
Julie, this would be, I see you're working with MAC in the city
Yes.
for getting there.
They approved.
Oh, they did.
All of
That's
their,
what I
yes,
didn't
they
see.
approved putting the no parking signs. They approved putting the cones. The,
And they're gonna
That's already
do
approved.
all the traffic work and all
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I figured so. This is the first time you've done this. You've done this several times, I think, have you not?
We've done this, but we haven't gone inside the courthouse square before.
I think that, and I don't think it involves any kind of our law enforcement on the thing, so we're good to go.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Okay.
So,
Questions?
all right. And the date on that is?
It's Saturday,
the
June
the
24th.
24th.
8 a.m. for about an hour. So they'll put the cones on the four. We enter at Washington Street, go catty cornered, and they'll put the cones on the other three entrances so nobody comes and goes while the runners are in there.
Nothing else going on all the farmers markets down here at the coffee shop thing, right?
In connection.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Kenny Helm makes a motion, we approve the 5K run rally in the valley for July 24th.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Good luck with the race.
Gotcha.
A
Court claims.
couple of tort claims.
No. I don't even know who to send this one to. Pardon?
Insurance.
But they probably say send it to Todd Rakita. I don't know who's gonna get it. I'll move we move the tort claims to insurance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any other business to come before the board for the good of the county? I'll start real quick. For those that weren't available, we had a groundbreaking ceremony prior to tonight's meeting. A very exciting time in the history of Morgan County to be breaking ground on a new judicial campus. Just think you're going to see a lot of changes, and I think this bodes well for the future of Morgan County. Any other?
And, I mean, really exciting, you know, I hope the records don't get burnt. 'Cause I'd like to see who was involved in the first one. We don't know. Chances are pretty good they won't get burnt. We don't know what's gonna happen to them when they're digitized, but, it was a good event. And I had a nice event, Saturday with the Government Center over at Monrovia. It was, well attended and a nice ribbon cutting for Monrovia now has something only the county, well, they have a new facility for their, permanent facility for their town board and their town operation. They've got a police department that's kind of increased it. Monrovia is kind of getting, it's on the bubble of growth.
It's the fastest growing community based upon the census in
Yes.
Morgan County.
It's gonna continue that for a while, I think. Waverly might jump in there pretty soon as far as programs, but it's exciting to see things growing and changing. And that was really a nice event. I got a nice tour of the place. They've got a town manager, they've got a park started, things that, and I missed tonight, I just got a note on my phone that Mr. Reeder, Steve Reeder is a history teacher there at the Monrovia High School, and he's done a terrific job of making the students aware of their heritage. And he had a speech working tonight about history of Monrovia I wasn't able to go to, but they're doing a great job over in Monrovia. And things are happening in Mooresville, getting ready for their bicentennial next year, so we have a lot to celebrate.
Super. Anything else for the good of the county? Ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.